We're going to start off by building a new document. This is going to be for the project that's going to be coming up, which is a book design. We want to build a document that we can use for each individual chapter in the book. So we're going to start out with a new document in our InDesign file. We'll go ahead and give it, make it an 8-page document, make it facing pages, and go ahead and click on the primary text frame. What that does is that will allow us to flow text throughout all 8 pages without having to link each individual text box to each other. Let's make our document 6 inches wide by 9 inches in height. Keep the column width, make the margins 3/4 inch, which would be 0.75 on all 4 sides, top, bottom, and both sides. We want to put a bleed in there of 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125 inches, and click OK. Now, as an InDesign document, if we were to look at the Pages panel, we could see by default InDesign sets up our pages like this. We have what would be page 1, or the cover of our document. We would have the first spread, the second spread, third spread, and then what would end up being the back cover. We're doing this as not an individual document. We're going to do this as a chapter in a book. So we want to be able to link all the different chapters together. If we kept it this way, the chapters would link up as there would be a 2-page spread, another 2-page spread, another 2-page spread, then a single page, another single page when the new chapter came in here, and then go back to 2-page spreads. We don't want to do that. We want to keep each page throughout our book in 2-page spreads. So how do we make this from a single page to a 2-page spread? If we were to simply drag another page down there, what it does, it simply reflows the document, adds additional pages. It doesn't allow us an opportunity to make this first spread a 2-page spread. The way we get around that is that we can select the first page, which is this, the left panel on the first spread, hold the Shift button down, select the last page. So basically what we've done is we've selected all of our 2-page spreads. We're going to go to this little pull down menu here, and we want to deselect the thing that says allow selected spreads to shuffle. We deselect that, go back up to our first page, and click the trash can. That way we now have a document that's set up in 2-page spreads. So now we can go ahead and build our chapter based on the way we want to set up our formatting. The first thing you want to do is establish the text the way you want it to look, the way you want it to feel. We're going to set up paragraph style sheets for the body copy, paragraph style sheets for the chapter headline, and a paragraph style sheet for the for any subheads that we might have. But the first thing we want to do is we want to establish a page numbering system. So if it goes from page to page to page, we'll have a consistent and a sequential numbering system on our pages that go from page 2 to page 3 to page 4 to page 5, so forth and so on throughout the document. As we learned in InDesign 1, we can do that in our master spread. We can see all these are set up in the master spread. I'm going to double click on our master pages, and now we're in the master page edit mode. We can tell we're in the master page because it has the reference, the fact that we're in the master page down here at the bottom left of the pages panel. So we'll go in here and we'll place our page number. I'm going to put mine in the outside margins. Go ahead and center my text up, and I'm going to make it, let's say we're going to make it a dash with a space. Then we want to insert a special character. So we're going to go up to type, and we're going to insert a special character. It's not going to be a symbol. We're not entering bullets or copyright symbols or anything like that. We're entering different markers. In this case, we want to indicate the current page number. We want the number that's going to be on this page to be the current page number, i.e. 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of stuff. You can see it puts the letter A in there, which indicates it's a code that'll indicate to InDesign that that's a special character to indicate the current page number. I'm going to hit the space bar, put another dash in there, and you can tell that since this is highlighted in pink, it means that this is being set right now in a typeface that I don't have available to me on my system. I can look up here and see it's Minion Pro Regular. Regular is in some brackets, which means it doesn't exist on my system. That's okay, because I want to change that to something that I think is going to be a little bit nicer. I'm going to change it to a Garamond. I've decided that Garamond is going to be my typeface of choice throughout my book. Those are all condensed, so let's see. I'll go down to Garamond again, and I'm going to select another version of Garamond. Oops, that was Galliard, wrong one. Do Adobe Garamond 3, see if that'll give me what I want. So I've got medium versions, italic versions, bold versions, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to go with a medium version for this particular page numbering system. I'm going to take the point size down to about 8 point. Rest of it's good. We're looking pretty good. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go under type. I'm going to open my paragraph styles panel, and I'm going to I've got this highlighted, I'm going to save this as a new paragraph style. Now since I have it highlighted, what it's going to do is it's going to read all the basic character formats that I entered in here. You can see it's Garamond 3, it's medium, it's 8 point. Leading doesn't really matter in this case because I'm not doing multiple lines. I could go in and change the character color and that kind of stuff, but I think the rest of this is in pretty good shape. I'm going to give the paragraph style a name, and I'm just simply going to call it page numbers. That way I can identify it as to what it is. Click OK, and since I have it highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and click page numbers just to make sure that it's identified as the page number style. So we're in good shape with that. I think design-wise, I'm just going to lower this a little bit. And I'm holding the Option Shift button down because I want to copy it over to the other page, the right side of my page spread. Done all this in the Masters pages. I'm going to double click on the first page, and you can see now what I've got is I've got a page 1, I've got a page 2, goes to 3, goes to 4, so forth and so on throughout the document. Okay, so we're in pretty good shape as far as our page style set up for the page numbers. I'm hitting W to kind of preview back and forth between outline and preview. I'm going to now put some text in there, some body copy. Hit the type tool, go up here and click in the upper left corner of my first type box. Now it's going to automatically flow whatever type I put in there from page to page to page, since I made that choice when I started the document. I'm going to click up there, go under type, go ahead and just fill it with placeholder text. Again, you can see that everything's set in pink, meaning I don't have this default font that it's going to, so I'm going to choose another. Go ahead and go back with Garamond. Garamond 3, medium. I'm going to change the point size to 10. Change the leading to, I'll go ahead and go about 16. I'm also going to go in here, and I want to get into this options panel over here. I want to take my paragraphs and make sure that they're indented at the beginning of each paragraph. Let's go ahead and go up to a text so we can see what's going on. I want to indent the first paragraphs when it starts a new paragraph. Say right here, I want that paragraph indented. So I'm going to go in here and just add a little bit of space. So there's some paragraph indentions. We seem to be in pretty good shape with that. Now, since I have all that text highlighted, I'm going to save that as a new paragraph style, and I will call that main body. All the basic character formats, the type size, the style, the leading, all that kind of stuff is what I put in there. I want to save it that way. Click OK. And I've added main body as a paragraph style. I'm going to select that to make sure that it goes with the body copy that I put in there. Now I want to set up a headline style sheet. So let's go in here. I'm at page 1 up here. I've done some returns so I can add a little bit of space. And I'm going to just type in chapter 1 headline. Select it. Right now it's set by my paragraph style is main body. I want to start a new one, so I'm going to take that up to, let's say, 28 point type. I need to take my indentation off of there because I want to center this text, but even with it centered, I've got this indentation, so it's including that little indentation as part of the center, or as part of the headline there. So I want to take that down to 0, move that over a little bit. Like the size, like the position, keep it where it's at. Maybe you want to add a little underline, or actually I'm not going to add an underline. So we'll keep it the way it is. It looks pretty good. I'm going to highlight it, save that as a new paragraph style, and I'm going to call that chapter headlines. Click OK. Make sure my text is selected. Have it saved as chapter headlines, and we're in pretty good shape with the headlines. So we've got a main body paragraph style, we've got a chapter headline paragraph style, and a page numbers paragraph style. So now let's go in here and add a subhead. We'll just type in chapter 1 subhead, double click on it. I want to center that under the headline. I still got the little paragraph indentation issue here going on, so I'm going to put a 0 on that. And I'll increase the size a bit. And in this case, maybe I want to use Garamond 3 italic. Okay, so that looks pretty good as a headline. I'm going to go in here and save this as another paragraph style, so we're in good shape there. I'm going to call it chapter subheads. Click OK, and go down here and make sure that its chapter subheads are selected for the subhead here, and we're in pretty good shape. Now notice here in my pages panel that I've got my 2 pages at the very end that don't really have a lot of text in there. I may want to add a little bit in there just to kind of fill those 2 pages. So I'm going to go here and copy a couple of paragraphs. This is all Greek text, so it's not important that it reads anything. So, and I'll just go in here and kind of fill this up a little bit. I've got to add a link over here. You have a little too much text in there, so I'm going to delete some. Go. So it ends up with the last page. It ends up with some ending text here. I got that line there. It looks kind of funny. So, all right. So I've got that set up. I've got it set up as my chapters. I've got an additional page down here at the bottom. It doesn't have anything on it. I need to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. You can see what I have here as far as my chapter pages. I've got my chapter 1 headline, and then I've got page by page 8 different pages that make up that particular chapter. I'm going to save that. I'll save it as chapter 1. I'm going to put it in a folder, and I'll call it Book Design. I'm going to put mine just on the desktop. I'm saving it as chapter 1. It's an InDesign file. I put it in a folder called Book Design and click Save. Now, we want to save some additional chapters just for the sake of this exercise. We don't need to go and rebuild brand new chapters. All we really need to do is to go back to page 1. I can change this text, let's say, to chapter 2 headline and chapter 2 subhead. So I'm simply going to change those two titles. I want to keep the same paragraph styles. The one thing about building books that is important, if you have multiple chapters, you have multiple people working on different chapter documents, you want to make sure that your paragraph styles for your main body, your chapter heads, any paragraph styles you put in there are all named exactly the same, meaning you wouldn't want to have one chapter that the chapter subheads are named chapter subheads and another one is named chapter subtitles or something like that. So you want to make sure that the paragraph styles are all named the same. So what I've done is I've just changed the text in these two headlines and subhead. I'm going to go ahead and save that as a brand new file and just simply call it chapter 2. Save it in the same folder. Click Save, and I've saved chapters 2. Now let's go ahead and save one more chapter for the sake of our book. I'll call this chapter 3. Chapter 3 head or subhead. Made that change. I'm going to save it as chapter 3. Click Save, and we've been able to save the first 3 chapters of our book. If I opened up the folder that I've got those in, I can see. Go ahead and close this thing out. I can see I've got chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So I think we're in pretty good shape for building the chapters. The next little video is going to go into how you can build the title, the book cover page, and then how you can bring all that together as a book.